All right, chapter 21 of Way of the Warrior Kid. Today, I learned something that I will never, ever forget. Today, I learned about fear and how to beat it. Ever since I swam across the river on my own, swimming has gotten easier and easier. Uncle Jake has still been taking me to the river every other day, and we have been having a lot of fun, and I've become pretty comfortable in the water. I can swim to the other side and back really easily. I'm relaxed when I'm treading water. I can even swim about halfway across the river completely underwater. But today, I almost forgot about all that comfort. Today, I felt fear because today was the day that Uncle Jake wanted me to jump off the bridge and into the water. I thought it was going to be just another day of swimming. We got down to the river, started swimming around, doing what we have been doing. Then Uncle Jake called me over to the sandy little beach by the riverbank. I swam over, kind of showing off my skills. When I stood up, he said, "Today's the day." I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about. "What day?" I asked. "The bridge," he said, as he nodded toward the huge bridge that spanned over the river. For some reason, and I can't explain why, I went into panic mode. The bridge, I thought, the bridge. It was tall, and even though I was comfortable in the water, when I thought about jumping from the bridge and landing in the water, I don't know, it just completely freaked me out. So I decided that maybe today wasn't a good day for the bridge, and I tried to make it into no big deal. "I think I'd rather just swim today, Uncle Jake. We can do the bridge jump next time." As I finished my sentence, I started actually turning around toward the river like I was going to keep swimming. "Hey!" Uncle Jake said sharply and quickly. I tried to ignore him, but for another half second. "Hey!" barked Uncle Jake, this time louder and with more force. A force I knew I couldn't ignore anymore. I turned around and faced him. "You are going off that bridge today," he said in a matter-of-fact way. The way that means Uncle Jake is 100% set in his mind, and his mind will not change. But I couldn't help myself from trying to change in any way. "It's okay, Uncle Jake," I said. "I'm just going to swim today. I'll go for the bridge." "It's not okay," Uncle Jake cut me off. "You are going off that bridge today." I knew that arguing was useless. Once Uncle Jake made up his mind, there's no reasoning with him. And more important, I knew deep inside that he was right. I was ready to jump off the bridge. I was just terrified. Okay, I told Uncle Jake, trying to seem cool about the whole situation, as I slowly started walking up the bank of the river and toward the bridge. "I'll watch you from down here," said Uncle Jake. "Okay," I said softly. I kept walking, and with each step I took, I got more and more terrified about the jump. Time started to slow down. I don't even know why I was so scared, but I was. Finally, I got to the spot on the bridge where I was supposed to jump. I looked over the edge. How did the river get so far down? "Okay, let's go, Mark," Uncle Jake shouted up to me. I couldn't even respond. I just stood there. "Go ahead, Mark. Jump." I couldn't say anything, but I stepped up over the little fence along the side of the bridge and shuffled toward the edge where I was supposed to jump from. I looked straight ahead and was really thinking of doing it. Then I looked down, and I got overwhelmed and scared, and I just stood there. "What's the issue, Mark?" Uncle Jake yelled up to me. I didn't know what to say. "What's wrong?" he asked again, louder. I just sat there on the little wall along the edge of the bridge. Then I saw Uncle Jake wading up toward the bridge, obviously coming to either yell at me or throw me off. But when he got up next to me, he didn't yell at all. Come to think of it, Uncle Jake hardly ever yells. "What's going on, buddy?" he said in a calm voice. "I don't know, I'm just... "You're afraid, aren't you?" Uncle Jake asked. But he wasn't even asking, he knew. He knew I was scared. There was no point in denying it. Uncle Jake knew it as plain as day. "Yes," I finally said in a quiet tone, embarrassed that I was afraid. Then, to my surprise, Uncle Jake said, "That's normal." "What?" I responded, shocked at Uncle Jake's statement. I said, "That's normal. You are doing something you've never done before, so it's normal to be a little hesitant. It's called fear. It's a normal emotion, and it's okay." Then he added, "Well, it's okay as long as you can control it." This made no sense to me. How am I supposed to control fear? And how would you know? You're not afraid of anything. Uncle Jake sat quietly for a minute, then he said, "I wish that were true." "What do you mean?" I asked him. "Well, you said I'm not afraid of anything, and that's just not true. Fear is normal. In fact, fear is good. Fear is what warns you when things are dangerous. Fear is what makes you prepare. Fear keeps us out of a lot of trouble. So there's nothing wrong with fear, but fear can also be overwhelming. It can be unreasonable. It can cause you to freeze up and make bad decisions or hesitate when you need to act. So you have to learn to control fear. And that's what you need to do right now. Okay, that sounds great, and I'd really love to make you happy and overcome my fear, but I don't know how. Uncle Jake thought about what I just asked him for a few seconds and then said, okay, well, the first part in controlling your fear, you've already done, and that is preparation. You've done plenty of preparation to be ready for this moment, to face this fear. Starting with dunking your head all the way up to swimming all around and back and forth across the river. You have done little jumps off the riverbank. All of the last several weeks, you've been preparing for this jump. And all that preparation works to help you overcome the fear. Imagine how scared you would be if you still didn't know how to swim. You'd be horrified. But you have prepared. Then why am I still scared? I asked Uncle Jake. Simple, he said, because there's still an element of the unknown. You've never jumped off of anything this high before, so you don't know what it feels like. People are afraid of what they don't know or what they don't understand. But you have prepared. You don't know it is safe. You know you are ready. It's just that this last little bit of fear that has to be overcome. And you know how you do that? I have no idea, I told him. You go. Just go? I asked Uncle Jake, now partly thinking he was joking. Yes, you just go. You see, fear lives in the moment, that powerful moment between when you decide you are going to do something and when you do it. Once you go, once you start, you won't be afraid anymore. You overcome the fear by going. And it's the same in many aspects of life. Parachuting, talking in front of a crowd, taking a test, running a race, competing in jiu-jitsu. The fear is in the waiting. So, once you have prepared and trained and studied and planned, there's only one thing left to do. Go. And that's it? Yes, that's it. As soon as Uncle Jake finished those words, he stood up, looked at me, and yelled, "Hoo-yah!" and jumped off the bridge. Just go, I thought to myself. I stood up, stepped onto the edge of the wall, looked down at Uncle Jake, who had just come back to the surface and was looking up at me with a big smile on his face. With all my heart and lungs, I yelled at, "Hoo-yah!" and I stepped off the bridge, past my fear, and into the unknown. I felt myself falling for a while, and then whoosh, I was in the water. I came to the surface, and I had a big smile on my face. "I can fly," I yelled. "I can fly." Uncle Jake laughed and got out and ran up and jumped again, and I followed him without hesitation. And then we did it again and again and again. The fear, it was gone. All I had to do was to prepare, to go get ready, and then I just had to take the first step. Go. All right. He did it. Jumped off the bridge. Chapter 22 is up next.